Welcome to the deep dive. Instead of you drowning in sources, we pull out the really key stuff for you.
We'll do the waiting.
Exactly. And today, we're getting fundamental. We're looking at how science actually works. We've got this educational unit on scientific investigation and our mission.
Boil it down. Get to the core idea.
Right. Understand the engine, basically.
Yeah, the engine under the hood of how we discover things. We'll cover the different fields, designing experiments, analyzing data, even lab safety, which is crucial.
Okay, so first, let's get our bearings. The unit uses this great analogy. Think of science as a giant Lego world.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, so Earth science is like the non-living parts. The Lego planets, the landscapes, the rocks, all made of Lego bricks.
Got it. The stage, sort of.
Then you've got physical science that breaks down into physics and chemistry. Physics is like the individual Lego bricks themselves, how they move, energy, forces.
And chemistry.
Chemistry is how those bricks snap together, how they form molecules, bigger structures, how they react.
Makes sense. And the last part of the Lego world.
That's life science, biology, all the living things you can. Lego plants, animals, even tiny microscopic Lego cubes, maybe.
Okay, so it covers everything from planets down to the tiniest little thing. It's a neat way to see how these fields focus on different bits, but they're all part of the same universe.
Totally interconnected. So how do scientists, these Lego masters, actually figure stuff out?
That's scientific. Or, as many people know it, the scientific method.
The unit calls it detective work. Perfect.
It really is. You're looking for clues, piecing together evidence to solve mysteries about how the world works.
And where does a detective start?
With a question. Always starts with a question. Something you notice, something that makes you wonder why or how.
Okay, question in hand. What's next? Gather intel.
Exactly. You do background research, you see what other detectives, other scientists have already found out, careful observations. And often, you design and run experiments.
Before the experiment, though, you need a suspect, right? An idea of what's going on.
Precisely. Based on that background research and maybe some initial observations, you form a hypothesis. It's essentially an educated guess, a testable prediction.
Testable being the key word.
Absolutely. Then comes the observation. Really looking, using your senses, noting down what happens.
And there are different kinds of looking, right? Qualitative and quantitative.
Yes. Qualitative observations describe qualities. Color, texture, smell, sound, like the solution turned blue.
Okay.
Quantitative observations involve numbers, measuring the temperature increased by 5 degrees Celsius, or the plant grew 3 centimeters. Those are super.
Got it. And after all that questioning, researching, observing, maybe experimenting, you arrive at
A conclusion. You figure out what your investigation tells you.
So that's one investigation, but how does science build up bigger ideas from hypotheses?
Good question. Ideas start as those hypotheses. They get tested. Evidence to support them. They're tested.
And if it is again,
Well, if a hypothesis survives the observation, explains a wide range of observations, and really gets at the why something happens, it can eventually become a scientific theory.
yeah, a theory in science doesn't mean just a hunch, does it?
Not at all. A scientific theory is a big deal. It's a well-tested, well-supported explanation based on tons of evidence and observation. Think theory of evolution or germ theory. They explain why.
Okay, so theories explain why. What about scientific laws?
Laws are also based on lots of observation, but they're different. A law describes what happens, a consistent pattern in nature, but it doesn't necessarily explain why it happens.
Like Newton's law of gravity. It tells us how objects attract.
Exactly. It describes the force, lets us calculate and predict orbits. But the law itself doesn't explain the fundamental nature of gravity. That's where theories like general relativity come in. So laws describe what, theories explain what.
That's a really useful distinction. What happens, though, when the thing you want to study is way too small, dangerous?
That's where models come in. They're indispensable. A model is basically a representation of something that helps us understand it when we can't directly observe or experiment on the real thing.
The unit mentions 3 types.
Yep. Physical models, things you can touch, like a model airplane, a road, or even a diorama. Then computer models, using software to simulate complex things. Weather forecasts, population dynamics, how a molecule might behave.
Right, simulations.
And finally, mathematical